welcome everyone. I'm not going to do like the other intros because we're talking our top 10, our personal top 10 lists of 2003. So these movies themselves do not necessarily have to be objectively good or anything of that nature. It's just that they have to be subjectively good to us. And I will spoil it. X2 did not make my list. Did not make my top 10.
Trey is currently stabbing himself as he hears this.
So, Steve can confirm, chat, that before we went live, that he asked me about certain franchise movies and so forth, and I was like, nope.
I was very much surprised by her nose, but also apologize for last week. I completely thought we weren't going to do it. So I had time to do it, this top 10, but it was out of my mind. And I was robbing a stagecoach in Red Dead 2.
Pretty much.
Not a care in the world.
Blatantly so. Blatantly so.
That's what happened. I thought we were going to do it at a later time, really. So it was my fault. I misunderstood.
Yeah.
But it's the first time it's happened, though.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, it's one of those where it's like normally like the first Wednesdays of the month give us time, but this Wednesday was literally like the October 1st was literally, I believe, a Wednesday.
Yeah, I think
and
so.
I was like, it was right at the cusp at the end of September, and I was like, hey, like, do you mind if we do it next week, because it just like sprang on us basically.
Yeah,
the first Wednesday.
And then I said, yeah, sure, we can do that. And then I said, I'll let you know. Mm-hmm. And then I was thinking I hadn't let you know, so it probably wouldn't happen. So I was riding around on my horse, robbing stagecoaches, and Mara was waiting.
But anyway, we are here, and I have my top 10 lists. I did not go back and update it at all. I figured I have the thumbnail done. I have my list done. I am not going back and checking it. So it's not like Santa Claus's list. I'm not rechecking it twice or anything like that. I was like, I made it. It's done. It's over, pretty much, or at least it's I'm not touching it again. But before we get into our top 10 lists, and for those who are new to these streams, I still make Steve do this, but the tradition is he rolls a d20.
Yeah.
I pick a range to see who goes first.
It's gotten so bad now that every time I rent a hooker, I make her roll a d20 because it just doesn't work otherwise. So anyway.
Yeah, I think YouTube Hoot Owl has been having issues globally recently.
Yeah, big time. I can't play videos today. It's just yeah. Apparently, it's a global issue.
So
someone's probably hacked it or updated it stupidly.
Chat's up, the stream is down. I have no idea. It looks up on my end because I can see it on the YouTube side over there on my second monitor. But I don't know. It's like I said, it's like really fucked up for a lot of people. So
yeah.
Here from the top, I see Trey. Hello. Yes, this is my PayPal. I mean, it's donations are not anticipated or expected, but they are appreciated. And whatever is donated to me through PayPal, I'll be using towards my hair appointment and my nail appointments a week from Friday. I'm returning to my goth look. So that's going to happen on the 24th. I have 2 appointments. Yeah, YouTube is down. YouTube has been down. So I don't know what's going on for some people, but that's what's happening.
Yeah, in Europe, England, and England is Europe, but it was specified England, lots of parts in Europe, and the US was having a huge problem with YouTube.
So, yeah, Gravy's saying it's working on the phone app, but it had issues on my PC. So it's like YouTube is having issues. So if you're having issues, then hopefully you enjoy the replay. But it's one of those situations where it's like I can't keep pushing the stream back because of my upcoming schedule. So That's what Trey's saying is working for him. So like it's working for some people, but not others.
Trey
It
has
was
mad
me.
hacking skills, though.
Well, it's working for me. I see it on my second monitor, so it's like I see the stream and everything. So, Anthony, what is up? Of course, Gravy D comes in and like chooses violence. So, for those who are like it's not working for you, try refreshing periodically, or if you have like smartphones, try watching on the app basically, because I don't know what to say.
Another thing you can do is punch your keyboard really hard.
Mm-hmm.
That works.
Akil, hello. Probably, I think you all can probably guess what my number one movie is.
It's the same as mine.
Most likely.
But we'll return to that later.
Yes. Gravy said you had to refresh multiple times. So yeah, like try refreshing multiple times. Seeing if that helps. This is my Kick. I do when I'm on Kick, I'm doing gaming streams, and currently I'm playing through the first Borderlands game. So checking that out, and what part am I on? I think yeah, I'm well past. Let's see, made it to level 20. So I think like Tannis found her. Yeah, algorithm. Yeah, so keep refreshing. So, yeah, YouTube is having issues. Nothing's been working. So, yep, YouTube is asshole. They always been asshole, pretty much. This is my throne. It's like an Amazon wish list. So again, kind of like the PayPal, not anticipated or expected, but appreciated. Gary says he had to refresh multiple times. Jacob Watt said, I am not sure it works. I punched my keyboard and it typed this exact sentence. So yeah. But anyway. So for those who the stream is working for you, and again I hope you enjoy the replay chats. Yeah, YouTube is asshole. Stieg rolls a d20. Keep refreshing. Come on, let me see. I'm just going to type it in the chat because I don't know if people can hear. Anyway, Stieg rolls a d20 to see who goes first.
Yep. And you want 1 to 10 or 11 to 20?
I'll go 11 to 20.
You know what it's going to land on. This is just sadistic torture at this point. 16.
I can't pick the winning lottery numbers, but I can like pick this anyway.
That is when I hope a rattlesnake rolls when we play D&D next time, and it's attacking.
Oh yeah, next D&D chat is going to be set in the Old West. All right, okay. My number 10 is a Christmas movie. All right, and I had to include it in a way because I watch it just about every year. Would I say it's the best Christmas movie necessarily? No, I wouldn't necessarily say that, but it grew on me. It's one of the few tolerable movies I can watch Will Ferrell in. And that is Elf. Okay, the premise is Santa Claus is, spoiler alert, Santa Claus is real in this movie. Yes, it's Elf. So Santa Claus is real. He goes to this orphanage, right? He's like leaving toys, and this baby crawls into his bag. Santa doesn't realize it until he gets to the North Pole, and then realizes, like he's basically kind of inadvertently smuggled a baby to the North Pole. And, what's the actor's name? I can see him. Papa Elf, chooses to raise the child who becomes named Buddy, and they name him because of the what it says on the diapers. They think it's his name, but it's the brand of the diapers, but they call him Buddy. I think it did get overhyped, but like I said, it grew on me. I watch it each year around Christmas, basically. No, not James Caan. No, Papa Elf. I'm like blanking on the comedian's name. Not James Caan. He plays the father. But Papa Elf.
John C. Riley.
No. Nope.
I've never seen
Bob
this movie.
Newhart. Thank you. I was like blanking on that. I could see his face. Bob Newhart.
I've never seen this. I wouldn't know.
Yeah, so Bob Newhart, chooses to raise Buddy, and then at some point decides probably best to tell Buddy that he's been adopted, despite the fact that it should have been obvious at this point in the juncture, because now Will Ferrell is playing the character, and he towers over all the elves. He cannot make toys at pretty much at all. At like definitely not the speed that the elves can do it. And finally, Papa's elf goes like, you're human. You're not an elf. This is what happened. And your real father, his real mother had passed away, and your real father lives in like this magical place called New York City. So it becomes a journey for Buddy from the North Pole to New York City. And it's kind of one of those where it's helping people find their Christmas spirits, since it became all about commercialism and so forth. And I think I love James Caan. I generally always love him as an actor.
2 weeks ago, they started selling Christmas cookies in stores up here.
I was just in a Dollar Tree because I walked in there to get a gift bag for my sister because it was her birthday yesterday. And there's still Halloween stuff near the front, but then if you walk just a little bit down the aisle, they already starting to put out Christmas stuff. And I'm like, can we let Thanksgiving happen first?
We don't even have Thanksgiving in between. So, but
but we do. So it's like they just skip over Thanksgiving and just start putting the Christmas stuff out.
Yeah, and it's like, what the hell is special with Christmas if it lasts a quarter of the year?
Pretty much. But that's the gist of Elf. I'm not going to go into full details about the movie. Like I said, it's one of the few movies I find Will Ferrell tolerable in, because I've never really liked him as an actor. But I think in terms of him, bouncing off of James Caan's performance is what really makes it work in a sense. And I play it, I watch it, around Christmas time. Past November, past Thanksgiving. I don't know. People just start playing Christmas movies before Thanksgiving, and I'm like, no. I start playing them after, so I let Thanksgiving happen, and then we watch Christmas stuff. So, I like old school. Old school is good, basically. I enjoy it
as well.
So that also grew on me because I remember not liking it the first time I saw it. I thought this is the dumbest shit I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Then I watched it again with the mentality that, okay, I have to watch Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly as if they're overgrown 13-year-olds.
Yeah. Just accept the retardation and it gets better.
I'm just saying, I had to kind of just turn my brain off a little bit and watch them they were overgrown 13-year-olds.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, grew on me. But that's my number 10, Elf.
Yeah. I have one that's not a Christmas movie. There's a Christmas movie on my list, but not at number 10. I have a Western named Open Range with Kevin Costner and Robert Duvall. Michael Gambon plays the villain, and it's got Diego Luna in it too. It's about two cowboys. Well, 3 cowboys, really. Actually, there's 4, but one gets killed off. Herding their cattle. And they have grazing rights, right? But local landowner wants them to pay for it. Shit happens, and you get one of the best shootouts in Western history. Robert Duvall and Kevin Costner do a 10 out of 10 performance. And chemistry. Holy crap, do they have chemistry. So, underrated Western. Someone in the chat hasn't seen Open Range. Watch it and you'll probably be happy you did, because damn good movie. So yeah, and a Western on it, and which is rare. You really have to go back to the 60s and 70s to make them a common thing.
Oh yeah, as far as common, yeah. I don't think she's going to remember to do this, but I gave Steph homework. And one of the movies I told her to watch was Tombstone, because she mentioned really liking Kurt Russell. was like, okay,
Oh
you
yeah,
have to watch Tombstone.
yeah. She should watch Hateful Eight too,
So,
and Bone Tomahawk, which is a Western
so
horror movie. I don't know if you've seen that one. It's gritty as hell. It's got Kurt Russell and the guy who plays Jack on Lost is in it.
you know what? I know I think I've seen parts of it, but I haven't like never like completely watched it through.
It's awesome.
But yeah, Steph doesn't do homework because she was supposed to also watch Groundhog Day because she had me watch Edge of Tomorrow. And so I told her to watch Groundhog Day because it's just about the same premise. I don't think she's done it yet. I also told her to watch. Well, you can't see it, it's the poster, but Big Trouble in Little China, because she brought up it's still on the Rock's page, even though nothing has officially been greenlit. The Rock wanted to do a remake of Big Trouble in Little China, and he wanted to play Jack Burton.
Yeah, I hope that doesn't happen.
I hope that doesn't happen. I don't want that remake to happen, period, but I definitely don't fucking want it to happen with The Rock.
No. If they do it with Ryan Gosling.
It has, well, see, like, the actor who plays Jack Burton has to look like the ironic hero. The one who doesn't look like he's going to save the day, the everyman, the one who's put into a fantastical situation.
Kind of like I said, Ryan Gosling and, The Nice Guys.
Yeah, I'm saying it's like something like that. I'm saying I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm saying it's like, but like it has to be someone who it's like you would look at him going, I do not see you saving the day, but he helps save the day, sort of situation.
Yeah.
He can't look like he can take on the Wing Kong by himself.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's my number. So those are number 10. So you start number 9.
Yeah, my number 9 is a movie called Kill Bill. Not to be confused with Phil Bill, which is the Hillary Clinton biopic. Bill did not fill himself, okay? But Kill Bill, revenge story by Quentin Tarantino, stuffed with famous people. Insanely violent. It just goes nuts at a certain point. Uma Thurman's fantastic in it. One of those female leads that didn't exist before 2015.
Yeah.
Lucy Liu is great. Everyone's great in it. But this is part 1 of one movie, really, because it's the second.
The overarching premise is the revenge story, and ultimately is Bill is the final target. So
yeah, she gets shot up in her wedding by her old assassin gang led by Bill. Survives, even though she's shot in the head, and starts hunting them down one by one. Insanely violent. Not so violent in the second part because Quentin Tarantino says Kill Bill is one movie just split into 2. So second one isn't a sequel. It's just part 2.
Yeah.
Which makes sense. But this is so rewatchable. Soundtrack is fantastic. There's nothing bad in this movie. It's just awesome. So I had to put it on on my list because I keep rewatching it. So
yeah. So also, it's a very good movie, and another surprise, shock to you, it did not make my list. So I had to narrow it down to 10, and I had to factor in a bunch of different variables when coming up with the list. So it's just like there's certain things that I'm like, you know what? Yes, I like, I did a 1s and 2s talking about Kill Bill 1 and 2. Whereas, like, I like those movies, but at the same time, it's like, okay, I don't just factor in a love for the movie. I have to factor in other elements in my decision making. And Kill Bill did not make the list. If it were a top 20 list, because I had like over 50 movies on the overall list, I would have included it.
I'm starting to worry about your list. What the hell is on it?
All right. Well, my number 9 is the only animated film I have on this list. It's one of like few from Disney. Disney picked the kind of Disney Pixar that I really like, and that's Finding Nemo. And the reason why I appreciate Finding Nemo is because lots of times, focuses on the mother, basically. Like the mother's the caregiver, the mother is like the nurturer and things like that. And like you generally just don't like typically father figures in movies get the shaft, basically. All right, but in this case with Finding Nemo, something happens at the beginning to the point where it's like now it is Marlin, the father fish, taking care of his son Nemo. Nemo decides to rebel, and as such is taken, quote unquote taken, and so Marlin has to track down his son, which requires him to go like. And Marlin, and the event that happened at the beginning, I don't want to say what happens at the beginning if you have not seen it, but it kind of traumatized Marlin to the point where it's like he's very paranoid and things like that. He's like, just hyper aware of every possible danger that could be lurking in the ocean. But he ignores
which is
that.
good writing.
Yes, he ignores all that because he needs to find his son. He says basically to hell with that, and he goes out to find his son, track down his son, and bring his son back home. And along the way, he meets different characters, and along the way, he's starting to kind of open up, relax, stop being so paranoid. It's one thing to be protective of your family, of your children. It's another thing to be so protective that you actually push them away from you, and that's what Marlin is learning, basically. And so he's growing as a character as he's meeting all these different characters. And Ellen DeGeneres voices Dory, and Dory's like, it's one, again, I don't like Ellen DeGeneres as a person, but she does a good job voicing Dory, and Dory's like incredibly different from Marlin because she goes with the flow. Marlin's all about like structure. Dory goes with the flow, and they they balance each other. Aside from the short-term memory loss, which you find out how she gets that in Finding Dory. But still, with those personalities, they balance each other. And I love that one of the sharks is called Bruce. If you know Jaws, you know the inside joke to that.
One of the sharks is named Bruce. If they had like a fish that was kind of like a mobster, and he was the cod father.
It could have worked. It could have worked. And they basically, Marlin has to track his son all the way to the waters around Australia. To find his son and get him back, and there's I believe Willem Dafoe voices one of the fish that you see.
He looks like
in
a fish
in the movie. He kind of does, babe. He voices one of the fish as well. If you look at the voice cast, there's like a decent number of well-known actors who are voicing these characters. But like I said, I appreciate that it was like the father finding his son. The father figure was important in the story. And everything. And again, character development. They're fish, but they all have character development. And the sea turtles, I love the sea turtles too. So if you have not seen Finding Nemo, Finding Dory's okay. But it's not something you absolutely need to watch after Finding Nemo. Basically, Finding Nemo ends just about perfectly.
I actually never seen it. I've seen.
I think you should watch it.
Yeah, I absolutely will. Because I've been trying to catch up on animated movies, steadily.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I think, like I said, it's like a father-son tale. I appreciate that about Finding Nemo. And I think you appreciate some of the inside jokes. Like I said, one of the sharks is named Bruce.
Yeah.
So there's some inside jokes there as well.
Animated movies are growing on me. They're yeah.
I think you might like this one.
Kids, they're for everyone.
Oh yeah, I'm saying it's like not all the jokes basically, but like you're saying, obviously what I was talking about was Finding Nemo. There's inside jokes that kids aren't going to get. Basically, they're not going to get the whole, shark named Bruce. They're just going to see a shark character named Bruce in the movie. They're not going to get the inside joke with it. And the sea turtles, yeah, they're pretty much stoners. So yeah, but there it is. So
Trey is saying, when Disney cared, yeah, Disney used to be great.
Mm-hmm.
Used
Yeah,
to
when
get
they still
superb.
cared.
Yeah,
When they still
used to
cared about
be.
telling a good story.
Yeah, when that was the goal, tell a good story.
Yeah.
You know.
So yeah, Finding Nemo is my number 9. So my number 8. Someone brought up Jim Carrey earlier in the chat. It's a Jim Carrey movie, basically. All right, stars alongside Morgan Freeman, Steve Carell, and others. Jennifer Aniston, I believe, also plays his love interest. And the premise is basically, what if God were to give you his powers? Because Bruce, speaking of Bruce, he's angry at God. He's angry at God because nothing's going right. The movie's Bruce Almighty. Nothing's going right in his life. Like, it's like he's a news anchor, and he gets the fluff stories basically, and he wants to be a hard-hitting news anchor. And he challenges God at one point, and God, and whenever we vent in anger, we kind of challenge God. We target something else, and God answered. It's like, okay, basically, okay, all right. What if I give you my powers? You think you can do my job? You could be the Almighty? Oh yeah, there is Evan Almighty. Evan Almighty is the sequel to Bruce Almighty. Didn't bother watching it. Just stick with Bruce Almighty. Yeah, but Morgan Freeman, it's like the personification of God, and he gives his powers to Bruce. Like, you think you can do? You can think you could be the Almighty? Here it is, boom, and pretty much thusly throughout the movie, Bruce starts learning a very hard lesson because he thinks he's doing good, and he's actually causing chaos.
You know what I would do? First thing I would do if I got powers like that, I'd watch some kind of person holding a speech live, right? And I'd tune in, and I'd snap his leg, like just randomly, just snap his leg. Everyone would wonder what the hell happened. I should not get powers like that.
You should not get powers. Yes, you should definitely not get powers like that. But like I said, Bruce learns a hard lesson. He comes to learn what's most important in life. But it's done so comedically, but also poignantly.
Well, comedies used to have a point back in the day.
Yeah, I'm saying yes, this is a comedy, but it has a lesson in it.
Yeah.
There's a lesson in it, and it's kind of poignant at parts. You wouldn't think a comedy would be moving and things like that, but it kind of is pretty moving in some parts. And I think Jim Carrey does give a very good performance. I don't want to say Ace Ventura kind of hurts him necessarily, but for the most part, early in his career, he was kind of cast with my dad called him rubber face Jim Carrey because of Ace Ventura. So Hollywood kind of cast him and things like that, and have him do that stuff. But when Jim Carrey's actually given leeway to show that his acting chops, he's a very good serious actor.
I thought he was good in a movie called The Number 23. It's a mediocre movie, but his acting was good in it.
Yeah, he said it's there's Steve Carell, when he's allowed some leeway, he could be a very good serious actor too.
Look what happened to Robin Williams when he was allowed to get some leeway.
Yeah. So this is where we kind of blame Hollywood for the most part on certain films actors do. We're this actor is playing himself, or this actress is playing herself, and I'm like, then I watch another movie with the same actor or actress, and I'm like, they're actually really good. What the fuck happened? Oh, Hollywood's a little bit to blame. For typecasting, yeah, they typecast Samuel L. Jackson all the fucking time now. So he got typecast a lot. But again, if you watch his movies, Yes Man, that's a pretty that's more of a dramedy than anything. It's kind of portrayed in the trailers as kind of more of a comedy, but it's more of a drama than anything. And Jim Carrey was very good in it.
Oh, I just realized last Last time
Mm-hmm.
I screwed up. I neglected to have Bubba Hotep on my list.
Oh, well,
Damn it.
that's your fault.
Because it didn't have a cinema release, did it? So it didn't show up on the list.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm
So,
saying, like, it's like that's part of the reason why, because
damn
they
it.
only generally go, like, if you go on Wikipedia or stuff, they go by cinema releases. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, number 8 is Bruce Almighty. If you have not watched it, I'd recommend it, giving it a watch.
Yeah, I haven't watched it. I will.
Mm-hmm. But anyway, you're number 8.
My number 8 is, I think it's, I bet this is on Trey's list, unless he's done the years wrong again, which has happened only once. I'm not picking on Trey. Freddy versus Jason. A crossover that was way better than it had any right to be, even though they screw up Jason a bit in it, because Jason was not afraid of the water, was he? I mean, he walks into the water chasing someone in, what is it, 6 or 7?
Yeah, they kind of added that detail. It makes sense if you think about it, that detail, but they did add that. So yeah.
Yeah. But they did it well, well enough. The cast was great. The kills were kind of spectacular.
Mm-hmm.
And the Freddy versus Jason fight at the end I thought it was good. Freddy was more, clever, but then Brutus' strength kind of.
Well, he needed Jason. He needed Jason.
Yeah.
And then Freddy realized, yeah, I can't control this monster.
Nope. He basically sent Jason to Haddonfield.
Yeah.
No, sorry, not Haddonfield, but
Elm Street.
Elm Street, and started killing to make people remember Freddy again.
Mm-hmm.
But just awesome. This is hell. This is fun for people who aren't even horror fans, I think.
So Anthony says, like, I love when Freddy said, "Give me a break." One of my favorite lines in the movie is a line that you would not get away with all. It's like Trey just mentioned it, when Freddy drops the dark meat line.
Yes, he did.
Like, would not get away with it today.
No, but here's the thing: Freddy would say that.
I know, but I'm saying it's like Hollywood is such pussies now.
Yeah,
they wouldn't put that in the movie. Like, they wouldn't like add that in the movie, so they wouldn't, because of the whole. Well, I say just Generation Z of pussies.
Yeah.
But back then, it's like, that is totally a Freddy thing to say. He's looking at a victim who happens to be a black woman, and he goes, "Dark meat."
Yeah. So anyway, Freddy versus Jason, very rewatchable.
Yes.
I might rewatch it soon, actually.
Mm-hmm.
And Trey pointing out the soundtrack. Soundtrack's excellent.
Mm-hmm.
It's got Ginger from Ginger Snaps in there too.
Yeah, she's in that.
One of the first who gets offed.
Close to it.
Yeah.
Not exactly the one, like the first or close to it, but she's relatively close.
And that's not the actress in the shower, people. She had a stand-in because she's religious. She doesn't want to do.
Mm-hmm. There was one of my favorite bits of trivia for the movie Phantasm. Kind of goes along those lines. I don't know how many people have seen Phantasm, but the scene where the older brother Jody is hooking up with this chick in the graveyard. Both of them had just gotten married, and both were pretty religious. So they didn't feel comfortable shooting that scene, basically, or at least parts of that scene, basically, because there's a part of the scene where his pants are pulled down so you see his ass cheeks, and then there's a scene where basically, like, her shirt's taken, like, pulled away, and you see her breasts. The boobs and the ass cheeks are stunts, basically. So they had to stand in to show his ass cheeks and a stand in for her boobs.
Oh, happens a lot.
So happens, I think, more than people realize. But that was the reason why. It's like each of them had just gotten married, obviously to different people. They had just gotten married and they didn't feel comfortable, and at least I believe the woman was pretty religious. Yeah, so did not feel comfortable showing any type of nudity in that regard.
imagine if you like studied acting and all kinds of stuff, and then you end up as an ass model in several movies, like
It
ass
pays the
acting.
bills. Yeah. Like, here's my skin coming up, Mom. Those are my ass cheeks. Remember?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, that was my number 8, and I'm supposed to do 7, right?
Yeah, she starts 7.
7 is actually the best Christmas movie ever made. It's Bad Santa with Billy Bob Thornton. It's got Bernie Mac in there too. May he rest in peace. He was awesome.
Yeah.
And that midget guy who's in a lot of stuff. He's in Willow, and he's in Me, Myself, and Irene.
He's been in quite a few things.
Billy Bob Thornton is a drunk alcoholic guy, dresses as Santa, and the midget dresses as an elf, and they rob malls where they're, performing at, right? So they're basically thieves. This is dark humor at its finest, I think, because it's dark and as shit, it's fucked up, but it has an odd heart in it too, right?
Yeah.
And there's a weird, bizarre character growth at the end, where Billy Bob Thornton basically befriends a kid, even though he doesn't want to be friends with the kid, but the kid just keeps coming, right? You want a sandwich?
Kind of wears Billy Bob Thornton character down.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of really fucked up humor, which I happen to like. Can't deny that. I'm wired that way. But this is definitely one to watch during Christmas. Maybe it's even better if you had a few. I don't know. But rewatchable.
To answer your question, Trey, I believe one of the Matrix sequels was 2003.
Yeah, I think it was the third one.
Yeah.
And yes, Trey is correct. Billy Bob Thornton shines in this movie. It's one of his best roles. The guy may be crazy, but he can act. But yeah, and rest in peace, Bernie Mac. So anyway, Bad Santa was my number 7.
Okay. My number 7 is an incredibly good movie. It's a Brazilian movie, so it's subtitled. All right, you had to watch it with subtitles. And objectively speaking, it's probably like the close to the best movie I have on my list. But it's so visceral in its storytelling. It's kind of like one of those one and done movies, not because it's not good or anything, but because it's like such a gut punch of emotion and storytelling that it's like, okay, I'm good for a while after watching it. That's a movie called City of God. I don't think too many people know this movie, and it, like, depending on where you look, because I tried going through Wikipedia and IMDb and things like that, and I would accept it if anybody else has watched it. I would accept it for 2004 as well, basically, or 2002, because it's like one of that range where it's like really weird with its release, basically, with its release window, because certain areas it was released in, and other areas then it was released in, like, so forth, basically. So Trey, it's like one of those movies where it's like, again, you have to be paying attention because it is subtitled. It's in Portuguese, but it's very good, and it depicts the rise of drug gangs in the slums of Brazil. I think like I should say more of around Rio de Janeiro, basically. All right, it's basically the rise of drug gangs. And it doesn't shy away from showing the living conditions that most people had to live in, because it's like set back in the 70s, 80s time frame and so forth, and it's like detailing the history of the rise of certain gangs and so forth. One of the gangs headed by a character called Little Dice, who was a complete psychopath. Was even a psychopath when his character was a kid, basically. So, and this is narrated by a character who's known as Rockets, I believe his name is, or not his name, but like I think that's what he's known as, and he's narrating this story, and he's giving his impressions and so forth, and he's like one of the ones that kind of grew up in the slums, but he's trying to basically make good in his life, right? He's trying to get out of the slums basically, and he's telling the audience, okay, starting with these characters, and it moves on to these characters and so forth, and finally it kind of like progresses to the point where it's kind of close to modern day, and you see it, and it's like kind of like modern day events. So where it's like it goes from like simple narration to okay, now we're like watching it like play out sort of situation. But like I said, it's doesn't hold back on showing the crimes, doesn't hold back on showing like the psychopathy of the drug criminals and so forth, the corruption amongst authorities. It does not shy away from anything. This movie is like, this is our history, we're not going to sugarcoat this.
Subtitles, it's probably not common where you are, but I grew up with them because everything in English was subtitled because it's a second language, right? So, and a lot of old people didn't speak English. So
it's not common, but we used to have a channel that Dish got, they just didn't renew their deal with, a channel called World HD. And it was one of my favorite channels to watch. Because it would show movies from around the world.
Yeah.
And that's part of the reason I grew up preferring most times movies with subtitles, because American movies turn to shit.
I think we got more movies from different parts of the world than you guys did, because we got movies from England, the US. We got Czech movies, Polish movies, French, German, all kinds of stuff. But yeah. Also, it was a good way to learn English, because you're learning by watching movies, because you're constantly, reading the subtitles.
Yeah. So, but that's my number 7. I don't want to go too much into detail, because it's one of those movies where if you're going to watch it, because it's a gut punch. It's pretty much a gut punch. City of God. All right. My number 6 is an Adam Sandler movie.
Oh, that one almost made my list.
Yeah. With Jack Nicholson.
It's freaking awesome.
Yeah. It's one of those movies where it's like, I'm watching this going like, what the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck? I mean, it's funny, but I'm like, why is this going on? Why is this going on? And then they had the reveal, and I'm like, oh, that's why. All right. Anger management. Because Adam Sandler plays a character who, shall we say, is passive aggressive, right? He keeps saying everything's fine, everything's fine, everything's fine, when it's not fine. He is angry, but he doesn't release his anger when he should, basically. He just lets it bottle up and keep bottling up and bottling up and bottling up, and then he explodes, basically. And there's a situation that happens, right? I can't say too much about this movie because, like I said, there's a reveal that happens near the end of the movie where it makes everything else make sense that transpired in this movie. But he's ordered by a judge to go into anger management classes. All right, that's run by Jack Nicholson, and Jack Nicholson is fucking hilarious in this movie. It, at least like the chemistry that Adam Sandler and Jack Nicholson have in their scenes together makes it worthwhile. I also like John Turturro, because one of the scenes where it's like
Adam Sandler movies.
Yeah, but like he's also like, there's like one scene where he's like, I went from happy to sad. Now I feel like kicking his ass. Pretty much, it just points out Adam Sandler's character.
Also, Jack Nicholson pissing off the Buddhist.
Yeah.
Pointing at the statue of Buddha, saying, "This guy's fat, lazy, and overweight. What the hell is this guy going to teach people about self-control or whatever?
Yeah. So I'm like, you're watching this movie, and like, at least when I was watching the movie, I was like, what the hell is going on? Like this is supposed to be anger management class and things like that. Like, what the fuck is going on? And they said there's a reveal that happens, where it just makes everything make sense.
Yeah, it's actually quite cleverly written.
Yeah. So it's one of those movies. Again, I literally cannot say too much about it because I might risk dropping the reveal. But like I said, I'm kind of with Trey. It's not exactly on the level of Happy Gilmore, but it is, I think, one of Adam Sandler's best early roles.
Yeah.
So it is a good movie. It is worth the watch. And like I said, I like the chemistry between Adam Sandler and Jack Nicholson. Jack Nicholson is a riot in some scenes.
Apparently, he also loved being in the movie.
Yeah, so you could tell Jack Nicholson was not phoning it in. You can generally tell when an actor who's supposed to be really good is phoning in a performance. And in this case, no, Jack Nicholson, you can tell that he genuinely enjoyed being in that movie. He genuinely enjoyed playing that role. So, but if you have not seen it, I would highly recommend giving it at least a watch, and that is Anger Management. That's my number 6.
Yeah. My turn? Yeah.
Yes.
My number 6 is a superhero movie, X-Men 2, or X2, whatever you want to call it.
Well, X2, X-Men United, X-Men 2, whatever.
Something. The best X-Men movie, I think. Kind of like, Spider-Man was the best number. Spider-Man 2 was the best too, right? But yeah, X-Men 2 continues where the previous one left off. This has the the Wolverine reveal, what happened to Wolverine, how he got the claws, stuff like that.
Or at least the adamantium claws.
Yeah. So he starts finding out where he's coming from, basically. Great cast, except for Rogue, who is not Rogue, I think.
Well, even in the first one, it was like not the best casting.
No,
he's probably one of my issues with the X-Men movies.
Yeah, Nightcrawler is in it. He's fantastic. He didn't want to play him anymore because of all the paint he had to go through. It was 6 or 7.
I can kind of understand that. It was kind of the same thing with Rebecca Romijn.
Yeah.
Like the hours having to sit through the makeup.
Yeah, I think the Nightcrawler guy it was 6 or 7 hours in the chair getting.
Yeah, so I really don't blame him not wanting to come back and deal with that. So.
And what's her name? What's her name? The Asian chick. Is in it, plays Lady Deathstrike.
Lady Deathstrike. The characters in it. That's the introduction.
Yeah, she voiced this as Mar KOTOR 2. Kelly Hu, underrated actress. She has a tendency to be in a lot of fun stuff. She's been in a Friday the 13th movie as well. She's great in this. The cast from the previous movie is great. And Jean Grey, played by Famke Janssen, gets a big damn hero moment at the end, which the feminists of the day tend to skip.
Oh, yeah.
Because if there is a hero in this movie, it's her. Right?
Yeah, I'd say, she is the one that has a big hero moment.
Yeah. Everyone would be dead if it wasn't for her. And it sets up the Dark Phoenix thing, which they will botch in the next movie.
Horribly. The Phoenix Saga should have been like a trilogy on its own, and they basically just condensed everything into one movie, which did not work at all.
Yeah. But X-Men 2, very rewatchable. I actually rewatched the third one too, but that one is just to finish the trilogy.
Yeah.
But yeah, this one's like an 8 out of 10. They got most things right with this, I thought.
Overall.
Yeah, Trey, I agree. 3 is terrible. Kelsey Grammer as Beast was a bit fun though. But yeah, anyway, that was my number 6.
Patriots
My
up.
number 5 is also kind of a bad one, but I keep
Mhm.
rewatching it. It's a guilty pleasure. Couldn't leave it out. Terminator 3.
Did not make my list.
It was an unneeded sequel.
I don't think it was an unneeded sequel. It could have been better, but the way 2 ended left it open for the future to change.
Yeah.
3 solidifies that no, like the future is this future is set. You're not going to be you're not going to deviate from this path.
Yeah, they just postponed Judgment Day, which I thought was okay if they're going to do it. That's probably the way they have to. You know,
I'm saying like it's like like you'd have to show that Judgment Day happens. Could it have been done better? Yes, absolutely. I think the execution was what was lacking with Terminator 3. But I feel like it was needed because it shows it it shows the audience. Oh, 2 just postponed it. Judgment Day is full on happening.
It has a couple of massive plot holes. You know, the TX can control other
yeah, that's the thing. Like, it's like, people are like, wait a minute.
So when you have all the cars driving after John Connor and she's not even near where it's happening, how the hell can she control where the cars are driving? Because there's no GPS.
No, not then.
So those cars would not know when to turn if it's traffic coming towards them. Nothing. So that was really dumb. But the chick who played the TX did a damn good job, I thought.
Yeah, it's like the characters themselves, like like I said, like it's more or less like the characters were good, the characters were fine. It was just the execution of the plot.
Yeah, and while the John Connor actor was bad.
Well, he was probably the weakest one of them. But I'm saying like overall, I didn't have any really issue with the characters. I did not have an issue with the new Terminator. It was, like I said, the execution of the story. Like I said, I think plot holes aside, the story could have been executed a lot better.
Yeah, and also it began the thing where, because of the T-1000, for some reason they had to have a better Terminator than that in the next one, and then in the next one, right? So you don't have to. It's kind of like with Jurassic Park, where they're just like making up dinosaurs now just to have something bigger than the last one. This movie would have been just as effective if they just had 2 T-800s versus Arnold, right?
Yeah, something like that. Like return to the older model.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, if you had these models to begin with, why didn't you send one back when?
Yeah, it's just like, and then in the latest one they have one that can split, which is even dumber.
Yeah.
But I still rewatched Terminator 3, and
well, compared to the sequels after it, it's decent.
Great Dr. Silverman scene in it. When we know he's talking about how he's been to therapy and stuff, and all of a sudden Arnold just walks.
Oh yeah, he walks in like, oh shit! His trauma just rears its ugly head again.
Yeah. Anyway, Terminator 3 had to put it on.
Okay, that's your number 5, right?
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, my number 5 is a sequel in a franchise that I had to include on this list because the opening scene itself traumatized an entire generation of moviegoers. I'm pretty sure you could probably guess what movie I'm talking about. But it's Final Destination 2. I enjoyed the first Final Destination movie, but this one left such an indelible impression because of the opening scene.
Is it the road crash?
It's the road crash.
Yeah. Oh hell yes.
With the logs and everything.
Yeah, that's a lot of people got wood that day.
Oh shit! But like the first movie, like yeah, you see like the the trail of death, so to speak, throughout the airplane, right? Because like you basically Devon Sawa's character has a vision of what happens and so forth, and he like panics and wants to exit the plane, and other people follow him, which basically puts a kink in Death's plans, which is the gist of the Final Destination movies. Death will find a way to get you. If you're supposed to die, Death will find a way to get you. This movie, I think, just ups the ante. Just ups it to the nth degree with the opening vision scene. The point where it's like, even nowadays, people will post pictures. Like they'll be on on the road and see a log truck, and they're like, "Nope." Like even now, they're like, "Nope. I'm waiting for that sucker to get as far away from me as possible before I get back on the road." Right? And it's the movie, which Final Destination 6, the current Final Destination movie, alludes back to, and there's a character in there that kind of figures out how to win, how to survive. Don't want to say how. But 2, right, kind of sets up what we see a little bit, at least a little bit, in Final Destination Bloodlines. 3 is not bad. 3 is like the roller coaster one. I'm not a fan of roller coasters to begin with. After that, I was like, I am fine with not going on for a long while.
4 is
I never
really
bothered watching 4 or 5. So
5 was better than 4, I thought.
That's the impression I'm getting from people. 5, like Trace's 4 is just AIDS.
Yeah.
5 is slightly better, but not by much.
5 was basically went more into the comedy of the kills.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, so and then it's really the plot of like Final Destination 2 is the same as first Final Destination movies. These people were never supposed to survive. They were supposed to be part of the accident, and they have to kind of figure out how to survive death. Like, how do we stop death from coming for us? Because death is going down the line of people. Like, okay, you were supposed to die at this point, you were supposed to die at this point, and going down the line and getting them. So, don't want to say too much because, again, she does find a way to survive. I'm just going to say that. But I'm not going to say how. If you have not watched it, watch at least the first 3 Final Destination movies, and then Bloodlines. So 1, 2, 3, and 6.
Bloodlines was not bad, but it was. I know he did it for the fans. Tony Todd was in it. It was tough to see him that sick, though.
Well, yeah. So I get that. But I would say go 1, 2, 3, and 6.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, that's my number 5, Final Destination 2. Right? You're number 5.
I've done 5. It was Terminator 3.
Oh, 4. Okay, 4. My number 4 is another horror movie. That's the start of a franchise that kind of goes off the rails for a while before they kind of get back to the roots of the first film, in a sense. And that is Wrong Turn.
Almost made my list, but I realized I hadn't watched it enough.
I watched it enough times that I can remember it, basically.
Yeah.
But
it's good.
Yeah. Very good horror movie. The slashers, very interesting take on the slashers. But this guy's like traveling. He's I can't remember if he's like a med student or something, or he just graduated basically. But he's traveling, and he kind of like he's behind schedule, like work to where he wants to go, and he's told about this little shortcut. If he takes this little back road, go away. So like he hits like where he needs to go. Okay, med student. I remember like he was like medical basically, but like I can't remember like just one of those things where it's like, oh yeah, take this back way, and it'll get you to to this place, so you'll make up for lost time. and he literally runs into the car of these 5 20-somethings who are kind of, they're basically taking their friend, like they were going the back way, and they wanted like as like a road trip to help one of their friends feel better. They run over these spikes on the road, which, like, where do these spikes come from? Because we're in the middle of nowhere, so this seems very odd. And then progressively, these people are hunted. Why are they hunted? I'm not going to say, because if you have not seen the movie, I'm not going to spoil anything. But they are subsequently hunted.
You know, the people who hunt them, that is how Europe views Americans that are not from cities.
I can kind of see that. I think it's
It's
pretty damn stereotypical.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, like, I don't want to say too much because, like I said, if you haven't seen it, I don't want to exactly spoil anything, but it's done very well. The slashers themselves are incredibly creepy. Eliza Dushku is in it. It's like when she was kind of at the height of her fame, because she was like, and she's gonna be on Buffy and things like that. So she was well known in the early 2000s and so forth.
She just vanished.
Yeah, I'm saying, like, it's like this is kind of like the height of her fame, roughly, and then she's just gone. So she's in it as well, and it's basically just a movie, like a survival movie, because it's a survival movie. But I don't want to say too much, like I said, because, well, if you haven't seen it, so it's one of those movies where it's like you have to kind of experience it. So when I say experience it, I mean, like, not like, so
yeah, and it's actually fairly short too.
Yeah. AJM and Fuck Norris, I see you guys. Welcome, everyone. But yeah, that is my number 4.
Yeah, and I'm to do 4.
And Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake would have made it again had it been a top 20 list.
Yeah, that was actually a good remake. I like it better than the original.
Oh yeah, I do too. I'm like, this might be a hot take, but I think it's better than the original.
The original is just disgusting.
The original could have been good, but I fucking hate the guy in the wheelchair. Like, he annoyed the ever-loving piss out of me.
Yeah, I was happy he died.
Yeah. Like if it hadn't been for that character, I was like, you know what? It would have been better. I'm not saying great, but it would have been better. I just
the guy in the wheelchair would have voted for Kamala.
Probably. I just despise his character. Character with such a passion that I'm like, I'll watch like Texas Chainsaw Massacre like maybe once every so often, and I'm good. Because, like, again, can't stand this. Can't stand them.
That was like they tried hard to make it as disgusting as possible, and gore isn't the same as horror.
No,
but the original had that great scene where the guy gets clubbed down.
Yeah, I'm saying the kills, like when like at least it was just a kill and not so overt in its depiction. It was good.
Jessica Biel is the one who should have played Rogue.
Maybe they'd have to give her redder hair, but she could have done a good Rogue. But so Wrong Turn is my number 4.
And I'm to do 4 and 3.
Yes.
My number 4, I bet, is on Trey's list. It is Underworld.
I would say definitely it's on his list.
Probably, I think if The Matrix hadn't come out, we wouldn't have gotten Underworld, I think. But it's a vampire versus werewolf action movie set in modern time, and it just works on every level. It's freaking awesome. Kate Beckinsale, another one of those female action stars that doesn't get recognition, even though she's done more action than Sigourney Weaver. If you think about it, keep hailing Sigourney Weaver as a the number one female action star, but what action did she really do? She did action at the end of Aliens.
Mm-hmm.
Alien is not an action role, is it? And neither is
No.
Alien 3. So she gets hailed as the best for like 20 minutes of action. But you know, Kate Beckinsale is freaking awesome as a female vampire that hunts werewolves. Bill Nye, is it Nye or Nye? Nye?
Nighy, not I think it's Nighy because Bill Nye is like the science guy. That's what I think of.
He plays the main vampire who's currently in charge because they switch every century or something. The next vampire takes over. It's kind of resurrected in a way to rule, but he is the personification of a vampire patriarch, I think. But
yeah,
and the story expands in the second one fairly well. Get a prequel in the third, and then it starts to derail rather fast. But 1 and 2 definitely good. Third one is good as well, but yeah, the first one is almost a 10 out of 10 in my book because they succeed at everything, don't they?
I say yeah, pretty damn close.
Yeah. Anyway, Underworld 1 is my number 4. My number 3 is also the start of a franchise, which is also a ripoff, by the way. Pirates of the Caribbean 1. Back in the day, LucasArts had a game called The Secret of Monkey Island, where a wannabe pirate doofus guy falls in love with the female governor who gets kidnapped by ghost pirates. And he has to get a crew and rescue her, go to an island that can only be found by voodoo. Sound familiar?
Bit.
They almost made a movie out of it in the 90s, and guess who had written the script? The guy who wrote the script for Pirates of the Caribbean. So he basically just split the doofus guy into 2 characters, which was Will and Jack Sparrow, because you can't have one guy running around, right? You need 2 for interaction. So, yeah, it is a ripoff, but it's done well. Pirates of the Caribbean 1 is awesome. And finally, a pirate movie that didn't flop.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, a big reason why they tend to flop is because they're filmed at sea quite often, which is expensive as hell because the weather needs to be the same from day to day, doesn't it? Otherwise, the shots won't work. But basically, this is, the Caribbean is plagued by ghost pirates. Barbosa, played by what's his name? Jeffrey Rush.
Jeffrey Rush.
Yeah, and they're cursed because they've at some point have stolen Aztec gold, and the gold is cursed.
Yeah,
so they need to recover all the coins that were stolen, and that will lift the curse, supposedly. They don't know if it will or won't yet, but it will. And Johnny Depp playing Jack Sparrow, probably his iconic role at this point.
Probably one of his most iconic roles.
Yeah, teams up with Will Turner, played by Orlando Bloom, to rescue Keira Knightley from the Ghost Pirates. That's pretty much the plot. But there's more twists and turns in it, though. But this one's awesome because Jack Sparrow is he's a weirdo, but he's also competent. He's very competent in this movie. And then they move away from that later and just turn him into a slapstick man, right?
A little bit, yeah. I think he's still decent. He's still good in the second one, but then they lean more into his comedic mannerisms after that, and I'm like, okay.
It's Sean Connery, I thought, nailed it when he was talking about Roger Moore's Bond movies. And he said they would lean into the humor and the gags at any cost, even the story. And that's what happens with Pirates as well. Not that they're not watchable, they're great fun. But the first one got it right, I think, the mix. But anything with pirates and old ships and stuff, I'll watch it because I grew up on an island. I love the ocean, right?
So I get this comment, Mike. I'm not like disputing it necessarily, but I'm just like, you ask Joe Schmo on the streets, name like a Johnny Depp role, guarantee. Even money, guarantee. Most people would say Jack Sparrow.
Yeah, and would they even remember the character name?
Yeah, I mean, they remember his death, but would they remember even his character name? I remember his first name at least. I can't remember if his last name was given, but I remember it because I like Nightmare on Elm Street.
He has one of the best deaths, though, in an Elm Street movie.
Yeah, so his death is iconic, but would you say his character is iconic? No, not really. But you say, like I said, ask any Joe Schmo in the streets, hey, name an iconic Johnny Depp role.
Yeah.
Even money. I bet even money. Most people would say Jack Sparrow.
Yeah, second would be Ichabod Crane, I think.
Probably. Like something Tim Burton, whatever like Tim Burton movie he did. Basically, would probably be second.
Yeah.
So
but anyway, my number 3 was Pirates of the Caribbean. We haven't had a single crossover yet. It's gonna happen at 1, I think, but
probably just 1. Yeah. But my number 3 is a true crime biopic embellished by Hollywood, but I think a very good true crime movie, despite the fact that Charlize Theron, who's a raging moron, despite her her idiocy, she does an incredible job in the role she's given in this movie, and that is Monster. Yes, right, it's Monster. Depicting, basically Hollywood style depiction of the infamous female serial killer, Aileen Wuornos.
Have you seen interviews with that lady?
Yes, I've watched documentaries about that woman. I've seen interviews with her. She was not at all an attractive woman. And even uglified, Charlize Theron was still better looking than her. However, they did do a really good job on uglifying Charlize Theron.
Yeah, and that lady, you can tell she's psychotic. Because she flies into a rage sometimes, and you can see basically
I feel sorry for her. Or I felt sorry for her. She's no longer alive, but I felt sorry for her because if you knew anything about her background, she did not stand a chance. She really did not stand a chance at life at all. And one of her victims, her first victim, it is believed that she actually was telling the truth, that it was self-defense.
Probably was.
Given evidence that came out after the trial. But at that point, Aileen Wuornos didn't want to fight the subsequent trials or anything like that. So she just accepted the penalty that I should say the judgment she was given. But I'm not excusing the other ones. The other ones that was completely on her. That was completely on her. But if you know anything about her life when she was younger, when she was a child, this woman did not stand a chance. She was a prostitute pretty much at 14 because her grandfather threw her out. The grandmother died, who was pretty much the only buffer that Aileen had in the world. The grandmother died. The grandfather became a raging alcoholic, threw his granddaughter out at age 14, and no one took her in. To survive, she basically whored herself out, and that became her mentality. That she was only worth whatever she could give of her body to other people. So she was messed up. By the time these events happened, I'm not excusing these events necessarily. I'm not excusing what she did, but she was almost programmed in a way.
Yeah, that was a broken toy, kind of.
And like I said, this woman did not stand a chance. Maybe if someone had taken her in when she was 14, showed her that humanity could be decent, she might have had a fighting chance. But
Yeah.
she was screwed up from that point on.
Basically,
Not
saw the
excusing,
worst.
not excusing the
thing.
crimes, because the men, like most of the men that she killed, did not deserve it. The first one maybe, but the rest of them no, did not deserve it.
Yeah,
She got the punishment.
she
Mhm.
basically experienced the worst things humanity has to offer, and she became it.
Yes. So again, not like entirely excusing her, but I pity her. I pitied her.
Yeah, you got to see where it was coming from, right?
Yeah. But if you've not watched Monster, very good movie. Uh,
Yeah,
Christina
Charlize
Ricci plays
Theron
her
deserved that
girlfriend,
Oscar.
Tyra, and Tyra was not good looking at all. If you saw real pictures of her, but yeah. So
Yeah, Charlize Theron, loony as she is, deserved that Oscar.
very good movie. So I had to put that on my list, and I put it high because I like someone like one of the not few, but like as far as like true crime, that's not a documentary. It's like a biopic. Is very good. Is Monster. Yeah. So if you haven't watched it, I'd check it out. And I start number 2.
Yep.
All right, my number 2 is a Tim Burton movie, and you would not know this, figure this to be a Tim Burton movie if you were to watch it. There are elements within the movie where you can okay, I can see Tim Burton's influence, but for the most part, it does not come across as a Tim Burton movie. However, it's a perfect blend of fantastical and reality. And the movie is called Big Fish.
Never seen it.
It stars Albert Finney, Ewan McGregor, Jessica Lange, Billy Crudup, Steve Buscemi, Helena Bonham Carter, Danny DeVito, amongst others.
It's a hell of a. I've never even heard of it.
It was not, like, I would say, a big release when it came out. But I'm with Soul Assassin. It is underrated. And Albert Finney plays the older version of Ewan McGregor's character, Edward Bloom. All right? And generally, like Big Fish, the phrase Big Fish is kind of like akin to Tall Tales, basically. So his character liked to embellish his stories, to entertain his to entertain people, to entertain his family and other people, basically. So it's like he himself embellished his own stories, his own and things like that, to the point where at the movie's core, it's a reconnection of a father and son, basically, because it's at some point, it doesn't exactly show this, but at some point his son drifted away from him because of how often his father was away from home, because his father was like a traveling salesman, and he had to be away for work for so many for so many days at a time. That he and his son drifted apart, and his son kind of grew to not hate, but just roll his eyes at his father's stories, because how could these be true? How could these stories be true, and so forth? This is pure fiction. Nothing. This didn't happen, sort of situation. But Tim Burton does such a good job at weaving together, in my opinion, the fantastic, like I said, and the real. So it's almost like a beautiful blend of the two. And the acting is really good in the movie, especially from Albert Finney and so forth. Ewan McGregor is good. And you meet this colorful cast of characters throughout the movie. And kind of asks the readers, do you believe, throughout the movie, do you believe Edward Bloom? Is he telling the truth? Or is it just a fantastic tale that he's telling? And I don't want to say a lot. All right, because there's it does come together near the end of the movie. But it's a very poignant ending to the film. Like I said, at its core, it's a father and son reconnecting, who have drifted apart and so forth. But it's are fine, basically, that are rekindling the father-son bond. So if you haven't seen it, I recommend giving it a watch. I say kind of like Gulliver's Travels a little bit. funny characters. The ending is, I think, superb. So, but if you like, I'd give it a watch, Dig. I'd give it a watch. Big Fish.
Yeah, I'm grabbing it now via the Jack Sparrow route.
Mm-hmm. So, like I say, if you like, if you know Jack Burton films, you would not think watching this that's not Jack Burton, Tim Burton. What the fuck? I was thinking about certain movie. Tim Burton, you would not look at this movie and go, "Oh, that's a Tim Burton movie." Like if you didn't know he was associated with it, you would not put the two together.
Yeah.
But like there are elements of Burton's influence a little bit in like the characters and so forth that you can tell he has like where he has his hand in it like directly. But for the most part, it's like it's the most un-Tim Burton film, but still really fucking good. So yeah, Big Fish. All right, that's my number 2. Like I don't want to spoil anything because it's. So.
Well, my number 2 is, I guess it underperformed quite a bit due to being released at the same time as a high-performing movie of that year, and it's Master and Commander with Russell Crowe and Paul Bettany. Great. What would you call it? Almost like a. Well, it takes place during the Napoleon War at sea, so it's a old school sailing adventure, Navy movie kind of. Russell Crowe nails it. Paul Bettany nails it. The two of them have superb chemistry. There's nothing wrong with this movie except for the release date, where it got overshadowed by the one we have at number 1.
Yeah, very much.
Yeah, this one I've not read the books, but I've been told that the movie borrows from several of the books, and sequels were indeed planned. They were hoping to do a new one every few years, right, with a new story, but just didn't happen. In my opinion, this is a 10 out of 10 movie. But yeah, the studio fucked up by thinking it could outperform a movie people had been waiting for 50 years.
Yeah, roughly.
Technically, it would have been 50 years, wouldn't it?
Close to it. Not quite 50, but close to it.
Yeah, and I don't think even Avengers would have had a chance against this one.
No,
but they should have held it back till spring or something.
Either push it up or push it back.
Yeah,
like I say, probably more or less. I would say more like I agree with you. Pushed it back to like spring time frame.
Yeah,
for release.
And it would have been a big hit, and then it would have gotten sequels. Hell, I would watch a sequel if they did it today, but it's not going to happen, sadly, unless they start doing them by the book, kind of like what they did, with Hornblower. Have you seen that?
Not really.
Oh,
I know I've seen parts of it, but not really.
Yeah, awesome as well. So anyone who likes Master and Commander, watch the Hornblower movies with what's his name, the guy who played Captain Fantastic in the underrated Fantastic Four movie. Is it Joan
Ian Griffin?
I think you pronounce it Joan.
Griffin. What?
I think you pronounce it Joan.
Joan?
I think so.
Ian?
No, it's not Ian. It's IOAN or something.
Well, we pronounce it Ian over here. I know what actor you're talking about, but
yeah. Anyway, and then my number 1. I'm going to split it with you because we have the same number 1, don't we?
Very likely. It's like our only crossover on this list.
Yeah, which is rare. that was, and I was surprised given, X-Men, Underworld, Pirates, all that stuff. It wasn't on your list.
Nope. I mean, I like the movies, but again, I had like various criteria I was working with in terms of like coming up with the list.
Yeah. My way of doing is I go through the list, and if it's basically something I've watched a lot, it goes on my short list. So even if it's a movie I think is a 10 out of 10, but I only watched it twice, it's disqualified.
So, but yeah, here it is.
Yeah, Trey and I think, had like 5 or 6 crossovers.
Yeah, you had more crossovers with Trey this time than me.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, you can go first because technically you'd be starting number 1.
Yeah, well, Return of the King, the great finale of the Lord of the Rings trilogy. They mostly nail it, I think. They have butchered a couple of characters through the trilogy, Faramir being one. Faramir is not the way he is in the books at all, but it's still, for the movie, it's fine. It is an adaptation, so the books are canon. This is an adaptation. It's his own thing, but it did respect the source material, even though it didn't follow it completely.
Well, it respects it more than friggin' Rings of Power does.
Yeah.
With that.
So I guess as far as,
I give that credit to Sir Christopher Lee. He's the one who held, I believe, Peter Jackson in check when it came to the adaptation.
Yeah, I think he had threatened to walk.
Yeah, so he's like, and
yeah.
So we have Christopher Lee to thank for the Lord of the Rings adaptation. We see what his lack of influence has in the subsequent films after it.
Yeah.
But Christopher Lee is the one to thank for Lord of the Rings. And definitely a great theater experience, especially Polar Fields.
I think Ian McKellen helped Lee a little bit with that too. Because Ian McKellen was also very much stick to the books kind of. But everyone shines in this, I think. Every character gets a chance to shine. When maybe they shouldn't necessarily get that, but the battle at Pelennor Fields is done almost perfectly. It's just marred by superhero Legolas in some scenes. They just took that too far.
People always say, like, it's like, oh, you're complaining about this at the Rings of Power, but where were you back when Lord of the Rings was released? Well, we didn't fucking have social media then, so we had to find a forum to bitch on.
Yeah,
we complain about that. We can even Two Towers, we made fun of Legolas surfing down the stairs on that shield.
Yeah, and some of the changes I can understand, like not having Glorfindel and Fellowship. Having Arwen do it instead of having just Glorfindel do that and never be seen again. Right? So
yeah, because pretty much not seen until near the end of Return of the King again. So
and people would go, "Who's this again?"
Yeah.
So I get that. So that some changes were made for the screen, and but this is not a perfect adaptation. No. It isn't. But is it a perfect movie? Yes. I think so, except for the popcorn scene with the skulls.
I don't know. To answer this question, I don't know if we were healthy, if The Hobbit would have been better, because a chunk of that was, I blame the studio and Peter Jackson for breaking up a single book into 3 movies. At most, it should have been 2 movies. But they wanted to recapitalize on the popularity of Lord of the Rings, that they butchered the Hobbit story by doing that.
I fully understand why they added the stuff with Sauron and the White Council and stuff, because that does happen.
That stuff, like that stuff, I'm adding it in. But the other things, like having to stretch it out because we need 3 movies, so we got to put bullshit upon bullshit in this movie.
Yeah,
and didn't happen in the book. No.
Yeah, and they turned the Battle of Five Armies into hey, how much slapstick can we do?
Yeah.
Especially have you seen the extended version of the Third
Yeah.
Hobbit?
Yeah.
Legolas hanging upside down under a giant bat and slicing the throat of 50 orcs.
Yeah.
I'm not even kidding. It was 50. It's
Yeah,
ridiculous.
Yeah. So I don't think even if Lee were if he could have saved the Hobbit trilogy primarily because of the fact that they stretched it out into 3 movies. If it had been 2, I think it could have been saved.
The Hobbit movies, every time they did not do action scenes, it was fine.
Yeah. The first one's probably closer in tone to the Hobbit book. Then after that, it was like I was like, where are you going with this tone?
Yeah. It was just how can you be afraid for the main characters when every action scene is slapstick?
Yeah, so
but anyway, this is Return of the King. It kept that to a minimal.
Mm-hmm.
Aragorn shouldn't have been that much of a warrior either, because he doesn't have a high kill count in the books at all. He's a great person and a great leader, but Boromir would kill him in a fight, I think.
Boromir would have been the better fighter.
Yeah, and Gimli and Legolas, they get way more kills. But so I guess I understand why they had to make him, kick ass in the movies. You
expect that as for someone who's supposed to be the future king of Gondor.
Yeah.
So
and also he was not reluctant in the books.
No, he was not. They added that, which is I don't understand why they had to make him like a reluctant hero. But he was ready to take his seat on the throne of Gondor.
Yeah, right from the get-go. But I guess they needed character growth because Aragorn doesn't really have that much growth in the books, really. He's kind of, I want the throne. It's mine, right? And then
pretty much
he gets it.
Mm-hmm.
But perfect ending to a perfect movie. It got all the Oscars it was nominated for, which is insane. But I'm thinking it probably got a lot of them for all 3 movies.
Yeah, because each movie was nominated, and Fellowship didn't win, Two Towers didn't win, so it got to the point where it's like, okay, Return of the King has to win. So we think that the Academy was waiting for the 3rd movie to be released, and then basically just give all the Oscars basically for all 3 movies. So,
yeah. But it has a bit of that slapstick stuff that carried over way more into the Hobbit movies, kind of like Denethor catching fire and then running like half a mile off, because that door and that point where he runs off the cliff, that's pretty damn far.
Yeah,
to run.
I'm thinking like you said, it's not like it's an adaptation. It's not a perfect adaptation, but it respected the canon more than what we're getting now.
Yeah, and Sean Astin should have been nominated.
I think it's pronounced Aston, not Austin. Aston.
Yeah, Sean Astin should have been nominated for Best Supporting Role in this, because he's probably the best actor in that movie overall in terms of performance, and I guess Andy Serkis as Gollum.
No, but of like everyone just does, like, for the most part, a damn good job in their respective roles.
Yeah.
But we're almost done. So I hope you enjoy the replay, Hoot Owl. I'm sorry that YouTube is giving you issues.
The only one I don't like of the main cast in this trilogy is the guy who plays Pippin. His voice is so whiny, and he's overacting too much in some parts. Like you can tell it's acting.
Billy Boyd, though. I can see that. Like, it's not for everyone. It's like, not for everyone. I didn't mind it. But yeah. So it's like I said, it had to be my number 1. There was like no way that this movie was not going to be my number 1 from 2003 films. Return of the King came out in 1955, so about 48 years.
How many times have you watched the extended version of this movie?
I watch it at least I say once a year, and I always watch it around Christmas, New Year's.
So you
Extended
probably
version.
watched it close to 50 times.
That's all I'm gonna say to that.
What?
Not 50. Not 50. Wouldn't be 50.
Well,
It came out in 2000. The extended edition thing come out until well after 2003.
yeah, but it's like if you watch at least once per year, then
Yeah,
it
so
would
like
be.
say like even twice, even if they say twice per year, it wouldn't be 50. It'd be like between 20 and 30. So
No, because
not that
it's
much. Not that because it's like 12 hours at a time. That
yeah, but
wouldn't be able to do it.
it actually is 22 years ago.
The movie. I'm talking about the extended edition. See, the extended edition didn't come out until well after the movie was released.
Well, a year after.
No, not the year after.
Yeah, I think it was a year after. Because I had the extended Fellowship of the Ring before Return of the King came out.
No.
Time flies.
Yeah, Blu-ray and other home video releases. Extended editions were released on Blu-ray in June 2011.
Yeah, on Blu-ray. Yeah, not on
Yeah,
DVD.
so like, but I don't think it was like it says individual film releases 2002, 2003, and 2004, but it was still after. I don't think it was.
Yeah, the extended edition were because I have them on DVD and Blu-ray.
But it wouldn't be 50. Still would not be 50. So
It's probably 50 for me because I watched them, especially early on. I watched them several times per year, right?
So I don't have the time. Like I love the movies, but I really don't have time to watch the extended editions throughout the year. So that's why we kind of like make it a tradition for around Christmas, New Year's. So, but yeah. So next top 10 will be 2004.
Oh yeah, I found it. Extended edition of Fellowship of the Ring was released November 12th, 2002. So that was a year after.
I didn't. But they didn't release in box sets, which I think like when most people got them.
Yeah, it wasn't a box set. It was individual.
I'm saying until after Return of the King released individually, so it would have been like 2005, 2006.
Yeah, where you got the box set. Yeah,
yeah, that's when most people, including us, like actually got.
Like, no, I bought the individual ones and then the box set and then the box set again on Blu-ray, and I'm gonna get it on 4K too.
I have it on 4K, but there's no real way to watch it just yet. I have it on 4K.
Yeah, I don't have a 4K TV or anything, but I will.
Excuse me. Anyway. Oh, stupid phone. Anyway, but that is their.
I also had the first one on VHS and DivX because downloaded, so I had it on my computer so I could watch it again, and had the VHS, and I think I have it in all formats.
So, but anyway, that is our personal top 10 lists for 2003. Next time, which generally works out to be the first Wednesday in the month. In this case, it will be November 5th. If we do it the first Wednesday of the month, will be our personal top 10 2004 films.
Yep. Which, I keep saying it, 2000 through 2009 is just as good as the 80s. If you look at just look at the sheer amount of great movies from that decade, it rivals the 80s.
So, but before I do my outros, to let everybody know where they can find you and all that fun stuff.
Here next month, and I probably will be on with Teresa for her Western streams. We're doing the Wild Bunch next time, so movie talk about the Wild Bunch.
And as for
That's it.
me, ladies and gentlemen,
I said
Alright.
that's it.
As for me, ladies and gentlemen, normally I would be doing a reading stream tomorrow, but because I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to do a gaming stream Saturday afternoon, I'm going to be just doing a gaming stream tomorrow on my YouTube, Kick, and Twitch. I'll be returning to Borderlands, so continuing my playthrough of the first Borderlands game. And then the plan is, with no real set time, but the plan is basically to jump on some Battlefield 6 multiplayer with at least my nerdy home, maybe one or two other people. But for Friday evening, and then Saturday is an if as far as streams go. So I'm not sure what my schedule is going to be like. But on my Discord, if you're part of my Discord, I'll be doing a watch party of Nightmare on Elm Street 3 Dream Warriors. So I'll be doing that as watch party Saturday evening. Roughly, I'd say 7:30 p.m. Eastern to 8 p.m. Eastern, give or take, start time for the watch party. Then normally Sunday I would be doing a long gaming stream because I'd be doing my stream early and then of Borderlands and then segue to Battlefield 6, but because it looks like I'll be getting together with my family for my siblings' birthdays and Sunday afternoon, chances are I won't be able to stream or really play anything at all until when Steph does, if she does it, her plays Battlefield 6 if she does her Sunday stream on this coming Sunday. So I don't know. We'll see. But anyway, that is moving forward. And then Talk Nerdy to Us will be on my channel this coming Sunday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. So tune in for that. I'll come up with topics before Sunday. And it's been kind of quiet as far as news goes, but I'm going to do a little search this weekend, come up with some things to talk about.
They had a dumbass animated DC thing happen, which was horrifyingly bad looking.
Oh yeah, I know. I'm saying it's there's some weeks where it's like all this news drops, and then there's some weeks where it's like one or two things kind of drops.
And basically. Also the final nail in the coffin for the Witcher show dropped in form of a trailer. Yeah. So. Have you read the books?
No, I read. If not, did I finish it? But I know I read Last Wish. But after that, it was at a point when the show dropped that I could not find the books to save my life.
Yeah, basically, you need to do the short stories, short story books, and then the standalone book, and then start the main series, because the main series is built up by the short stuff. Hell, the short stories you could read on your channel, can't you?
Yeah, Last Wish, I believe, is the short stories one.
Yeah, that's the very first one.
Yeah, that's the short stories one. So
yeah, but the brand new book that's out now, that takes place before that again. But I don't think that's vital to the story whatsoever.
Okay.
So anyway, it's Sword of Destiny is the second one. It's also a short story book.
So, like I said, it was at least at the time, it was they were sold out just about everywhere I looked, because people who watched the first season were buying the books. So it's you couldn't find them anywhere. But yeah, so that is my stream schedule coming up this for through Sunday. So on that note, ladies and gentlemen, have a good rest of your day or evening wherever you are in the world, and we will see you all at least for the top 10 next month on the first Wednesday, and then I will see you tomorrow evening for some more Borderlands playthrough. Good night and peace.
You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go.